Hey there, in this quick video, I'm gonna show you my favorite paint I've ever found. But it's not really paint though. It's conversion varnish. This stuff is awesome. This isn't for your average everyday DIYer. This is more professional grade stuff that you wanna use. So let's talk about it here. I get my supply from Sherwin-Williams. This is the Chem-Var 80 series. This is the primer I'm gonna use. I'm gonna put 6% catalyst in it. All this is a 2-part paint mix. What that does is it makes the paint dry very fast, and also it dries hard, which I like a lot. Primer's awesome. Once it's dry, you can actually sand it, which you can't do that with latex paint, if you know anything about that. This is my conversion varnish. I had it dyed a custom color for my client. H66 Chem-Var 80 series conversion varnish with color. For years, my family has painted cabinets in the past with a latex paint, which if you ever painted a kitchen with latex paint, you know that there's a lot of issues that can come up, and it takes forever for the paint to dry. And latex paint is a rubbery paint. It doesn't really harden. It doesn't really get hard. It's always kind of squishy feeling. But this stuff actually dries hard and crisp. So I'm going to show you my process, how I'm going to apply it. Also, this paint here has already been reduced. Depending on what stuff you get, you might want to put a little bit of reducer in there to make it more watery, but that's a pretty good consistency, what I want to see for painting. This is what I'll be painting here today. These are going to be countertops. So this is pre-lacquered plywood, which is all right. That primer, the conversion varnish, will adhere to that, no problem at all. All cleaned up, ready for paint. This is the sprayer I'll be using. I don't know what it's called. Gravity-fed paint sprayer. Just one of these guys will do you good. I always prefer ounces. Woo! Mayday! Mayday! Where's my towel? For this first batch, I'm making 4 ounces. 4 times 0.06 is 0.24. So I need just under 1/4 of an ounce. So I'm gonna do my best to kind of eyeball it here in this little cup. Now we're gonna mix it up really well. Once you've mixed it up, your pot life is around 4 hours. So now I have 4 hours to use this paint before it's no longer proper to use. I pour all of my paint straight into my gun, and I'm going to flip over one of these countertops real quick just to check out my misting, make sure it's looking good. That looks great. So now we're gonna do the real thing. For my first layer here, this is called my fog layer or my tack layer. I just mist on the paint right here. And I'm going to wait a couple seconds, allow all of that to dry. Once it all dries, you know, within 30 seconds or a minute, then I'm gonna go ahead and really lay it on hard. And if this is done right, then we will have no runs anywhere. And we will also get a smooth finish. Overall, I think the first coat here went on great. I'm looking at the light here, trying to see how consistent my paint is. Now that I'm all done with my primer, I take this acetone, and then I go ahead and I put it in my hopper. I give it a little shake and get the acetone to go in the tip as well. And now I'm going to let that sit on the side. I'm now going to take this acrylic putty. I like Bondo, but this brand works out too. And I'm going to use it to fill in any imperfections I see. Because obviously once we have our primer done, you're going to see all kinds of holes or cracks that you might have in places. Also, as you can see, that primer does sand very nicely. With it all nice and smooth, we're going to put on more primer to now cover all of that. All nice and smooth and primed. Hard to tell, but like, it's You know, like this has been drying for an hour and it's perfectly dry, ready for a second coat. I've got 2 layers of primer on here. Now I'm ready to do my top coat for painting. I did take a fine sanding block and I did quickly just scuff up a little bit so the paint has something a little bit more to grip to. I'm gonna dust it off and then we're gonna go ahead and get all the painting done on it. Putting on the conversion varnish is exactly like how you do the primer. You use 6% of catalyst for whatever conversion varnish you're using. Mix it up, put it in the gun. We're gonna do our tack coat and then layer it on thick. And then we'll do 2 coats of this painting. Now that we're all done spraying this, it'll be nice and dry in an hour so I can get it all packed up, ready to ship out to the job site. I am very pleased with how these turned out. Here's the rough cut going into the job. It's not caulked yet. I like to use painter's caulk for all of my transitions, and I paint the painter's caulk the wall color. If you've made it to the end of the video here, I want to say thank you very much. It would help me out a lot if you considered subscribing. Ever since I was a little kid, I've always been out on the job site swinging my hammer with my dad or my older brothers. I've been doing this full time for over 10 years. I've got lots of tips and tricks and projects ahead in the future I'm going to document and put up on my channel. This here is the latest solo project of mine, this entertainment center. I did all the floating shelves, the cabinetry, the tile around the fireplace, and the mantle. A video of this will be out on my channel soon.